It's time to get educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. This is the Dr. Duke Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show. We have a typically great program for you, if I may say so myself, as we usually do. So please hit that share button because we want a lot of people to see this. All right, really quick, I want to mention that FreedomProject Academy, our Judeo-Christian classical online school for kids from kindergarten all the way through high school, officially opens for fall enrollment next week, April 12th, Tuesday. You can begin signing up for our COVID-free, mask-free, sexuality-free, drug-free, bullying-free online curriculum. We'll be talking a lot about FPA over the coming months, but if you're interested in our great alternative for your child's education, request a free packet at freedom4school.com. That's freedom, F-O-R school.com. Much more on that to come. Today we start in San Antonio, Texas, where a pair of education professors were just awarded thousands of dollars in grant money to develop a preschool program to teach children how to fight racism against Asian people in particular. Now, all the money is going to more and more specific campaigns. $11,000 went to these two researchers to figure out how to stop bullying Asian kids. The two professors in mention here are Alicia Wen, a PhD, and Zhongfed Shan, another PhD researcher, and they're the ones who raked in the big bucks to figure out how to take this evil country of ours that's so hard on children who come from the Orient and to make their lives so much better.
And so the American Educational Research Association is one who gave the University of Texas at San Antonio professor, who actually, Sean is from San Antonio, and then Boston College is where Wen actually teaches, and they're both education professors, and they're getting $11,000. So they can just focus, really get in there and focus on preschool curriculum to fight that racism. Because in preschool, we need a curriculum that is so, we got to fight that racism now.
I want to know how you have a curriculum for a 3-year-old.
You do.
Isn't it called nap, wipe, nap, chocolate milk, nap? Isn't that what kind of it is?
No.
You've
never been around a 3-year-old. Right. Clearly. That is his, though. That's a 50-some-year-old's itinerary, I think, for the day. But
what is the curriculum for your 3-year-old?
I don't have a 3-year-old.
When you do,
I have a 2.5-year-old.
What kind of things would you do with them?
Oh, you have art time, like art centers. You have, other outside time. You have to have gym if it's cold out, or you get to go on the playground. You do definitely have snack, and you have lunch, and you have breakfast, maybe,
so
depending on where you are.
In your potential 3rd grade curriculum, you have no
3-year-old.
Devote time to not hating Asians?
I looked on the sheet and I did not see that, unless they're going to make that one of the specific centers between the coloring and the learning how to use scissors properly.
Gotcha.
They may have worked that in. I'll go confer with them, or I'll just get these education professors to help me out, because apparently they're going to spend $11,000. Are they just going to split the money? Because, what is that $11,000 actually going to develop a curriculum for preschoolers to fight specifically racism with the Asians? So, according to them, the preschool curriculum, it is designed for both a Vietnamese English program and a Mandarin English program. And they say it's going to help battle the systemic racism. It's always systemic. All the racism.
Why do they hate the Koreans and the Filipinos?
I don't know, but according to at least the press release, they said, we don't want to come to the classroom and frame ourselves as the experts helping them design their curriculum. We want to work with them. We want to listen to their needs and design the curriculum with them based on the community needs, because they're actually going to go in the classroom so that they can advance the anti-racist research and practices in teaching and teacher education.
Let me make one observation. There is no 3-year-old Asian kid in this entire country who's being discriminated against because of his skin color, period. I'm going to say that again. There are no Asian 3-year-old babies who are being persecuted by white supremacy. It ain't happening, period.
And I find it fascinating that the research, or the preschools, the dual language preschools that they're going to go into, are going to be in the greater Boston area. So you pick northeast of the U.S., of all places. I mean, I guess there were a couple other places that would have been worse choices, but northeast Boston, to me, I guess.
What was San Antonio all about?
He's from
That's where they're
San Antonio.
from. Yeah, that's
no,
right.
one is from there, and the other's from
San
Boston.
Antonio, that's
Yes.
right.
So, I mean, I guess I would have picked maybe somewhere out
San
in
Francisco?
California, but that's just me, and what do I know about preschool curriculum being racist? Anyway, so we do know that Wen from Boston, she has published at least 2 papers about children and racial education, and it was called "Children Have the Fairest Things to Say: Young Children's Engagement with Anti-Bias Picture Books." And then she also wrote "Childhood Innocence and the Racialized Child in a White Space." The fact that got published just tells you all you need to know about academia. But that is where we are.
You know, empty spaces are white spaces. This is the argument, right? There's no such thing as white space intruding on a little Asian baby's space. That doesn't happen. But what the left has done now is they've decided that all empty space in this vast world, at least in Western culture, is empty white space, as if sort of the ghost of whiteness haunts it, right? It's why we keep being told that camping is racist, that cooking outside is racism, that milk is racism, white supremacy. Everything that's not focused immediately on the special cultural issues of that race is considered white. And it's a stupid, lazy, completely progressive, ridiculous argument. But hey, you can get 11 grand for selling that snake oil.
With all the censorship taking place on social media platforms, we've made it easy to keep up with your favorite content. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app in your app store. Get access to 18 new videos a week, plus thousands of archived shows, lecture series, and educational animations. Download the Freedom Project Media app on your Apple TV, Roku, tablet, or phone, and make sure you allow for notifications to keep you informed.
Get your vaccine, get your booster, and or don't go to a university in California, because there will be punishments if you don't get them both. And they're really hitting students where it hurts. Or they're jabbing them, and get it with the jab, you jabbing it. Anyway, but really where it hurts for these students is their Wi-Fi. If you don't get vaccinated and then boosted, you may have your Wi-Fi taken away from you on a college campus in California. Well, the University of California System's policy states that students who do not comply with the requirement of being fully vaccinated, which includes a booster shot. So at least the University of California is telling us now what it means to be fully vaccinated, because the CDC didn't know, or probably still doesn't know for all I know. If you're not fully vaccinated with that booster, then students will be barred from physical presence at university facilities and programs and may experience consequences up to and including dismissal from educational programs.
How is this possible when the rest of the entire country is going without masks? There are huge numbers of this population that have not had vaccines. No one's getting sick. I just saw on the news today, the lowest number of hospitalizations since COVID began. And why is this dead horse being beaten again and again and again by California? Because, as we know, as all progressive states, and California is the most progressive state anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. The point is that it's not about perfect, it's not about medicine, it's not about science, it's about control. And my God, does California want to control your kids?
Yes. So at specific campuses, they've already put out some of their information. UC Irvine is an interesting one, because that's where you're going to get your Wi-Fi shut off. Now, if you do not submit to a full vaccination record as well, you have to actually not only get jabbed and then get jabbed a couple more times, then you have to provide proof that you were jabbed several times. They will get you a red Zot pass. Now that sounds like something futuristic, but it's you know what you got to do. You have to show your Zot pass, and you have to be prepared to show it upon entry to basically everywhere. There's going to be a daily symptom check with it. There's a obviously the vaccination compliance. And then there's the required testing. And hey, look at that. You can download all their QR codes. This sounds like something from the movies we watched that were sci-fi, but that were supposed to be taking place in like 2028, 42, 2100, who knows, in all the different years. But not now in real life, but it is happening on the UC Irvine campus. So get your red Zot Pass to tell you what you're allowed to do and not. And because of that red Zot Pass, you may be prohibited from using any of the campus services, including that Wi-Fi. Let's just head over, though, to UC San Diego. If you decide, hey, I'm going to go to college there, well, they're going to be a little bit nicer to you, because instead they have an incentive program called the Boost for Bucks. And it gives you $10 of Triton cash if you get boosted. So you want to make a quick $10, get jabbed a time or two. And I'm sure kids are going to be like, dude, if I get jabbed here and there, I'll get $20. So I believe out in San Diego, that's what they would do. But the Chancellor, Pradeep Khosla, not sure. Pradeep has also enacted a challenge called Boostin' Out for Basic Needs. And they're promising to donate $50,000 to the Basic Needs Hub if 10,000 students get their booster shot before beginning, which was beginning of this 2022 semester here.
Isn't it nice that the charitable giving only happens if 10,000 otherwise healthy students get biologics injected into their veins? Isn't that lovely?
And I mean, that sounds so nice. Hey, we should go do this. But at the same time, the gun is pointed at their back, because if they don't comply, they may face disciplinary actions or be unable to participate in on-campus activities. So, hey, look ahead. We're going to do something so nice if 10,000 of you, but look behind and you got a gun to your back anyway. So, meanwhile, over at UC Riverside, there's an entire flow chart. This is what they spent time and money on, is making an entire flow chart. It's talking about how they are to register for in-person classes, but if you don't get your vaccine, then you can't register for in-person classes. And then if your registration is canceled in full, or if it's upheld or modified, and then the sanctions that are applied to suspension or dismissal, and then the sanctions being applied to, again, suspension or dismissal some more, and then it just, I mean, read the flow chart. It makes all the sense and dollars. No. Okay, well, we're just going to head over then to UC Berkeley, because Berkeley, crazy town. You're going to have an enrollment hold put on if you don't get, shot up and then boosted. You will not be able to register for your classes. And Adam Ratliff, the Assistant Director of Media Relations, said that we estimate at this time that approximately 6,000 students are non-compliant with our booster policy. I wonder what will happen to said 6,000 students. I wonder if Berkeley is going to be like, wow, 6,000 students. That's how much in tuition money that we could lose. Mm-hmm. It's like that meme of the red buttons. Which one do you choose?
Oh, I think they'll choose woke.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on all items at MyPillow.com when you use the code Dr. Duke. That's DRDUKE. Support this show by supporting a great American company.
We knew it was coming. It was bound to happen. We saw it a mile and a half away, and it's here. So merit-based anything we know is racist. And so, that California state system again, they're, as you saw in the last story, they're all about the jab, not much about actually qualifying based on what you're capable of doing, just being compliant to what they want you to do. So naturally, they're going to ditch completely, forever and always now, the SAT or the ACT being required as part of their admissions process. And several of the state's universities had actually been doing this already back during COVID time, right before COVID time. They were just looking for a reason to permanently get rid of any, I guess, qualifications to be a student at a university, to know if you're qualified to even participate and become a better student at that high level, and yet we know they are not, and so they got rid of the SATs and the ACTs. And the California State University is the largest system of the four-year higher education in the country, by the by, and there are 23 campuses, just so you know, with 477,000 students and some 56,000 faculty and staff. So you have nearly 500,000 college students who could be there, a couple of them qualified to be there, and then all the rest.
And the system will now implement a multi-factored admission criteria that I guarantee you all these multifaceted, let me list multifaceted for you. Facet number 1, race. Facet number 2, gender. Facet number 3, sexual preference. Facet number 4, socioeconomic background. Facet number 5, race. Again, repeat and rinse. This is what they're going to be doing, right? According to the system, a multifaceted factored admission criteria to determine student eligibility bereft of standardized testing scores to use for consideration. California State University's Director of Strategic Communications and Public Affairs, Tony Mall, said that the school, quote, draws its students from the top third of California's high school graduates, and the grade point averages will be primary consideration for admission. Sure they will. You're not paying attention to how they're tested. Do you really think they're going to pay a lot of attention what their grades are like? What a scam. What a scam. Katie, Patrick, what a scam.
You missed the line. It's what a scam, what a scam, what a mighty fine scam. Take that one back to the 90s. Acting Chancellor Steve Relia had said that the goal for eliminating the school's reliance on the high-stress, high-stakes test in the admissions process is to level the playing field, and provide greater access to a high-quality college degree for students from all backgrounds.
So again, grades aren't really going to count.
If you are going to say that it's going to level the playing field, yes, everyone will be brought down. And provide greater access. Okay, yes, so now everyone's in the door. A high-quality college degree, and that's where you fully lie. It will not be a high-quality college degree. It will be high quality that was brought down. So what's your definition there of high quality? It's not what it was even 10 years ago. Definitely not what it was 20 years ago, 30, 40, or 50 years ago. That is not the same as what you will get moving forward at all in the university system.
Grasshopper, may I wax philosophical?
Maybe.
If your life is all about leveling playing fields, then you will never experience mountain heights nor the deep shade of valleys. Such technocratic garbage destroying all the vistas from on high and all the shadowy domains from below, because you, socialist commissars, have to bulldoze everything into monochromatic uniformity.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Fiorazzo. Before we go, I want to take a little time to fill you in on a few stories we've been talking about around the office here. Let's start in Baltimore, where two parents have filed a lawsuit against the city and school district claiming children are graduating high school and can't even read. And they're not wrong. A new study finds a whopping 77% of high schoolers are at one Baltimore high school can barely read at an elementary level. 77%. Now, another report finds last year 41% of Baltimore high school students earned less than a 1.0 grade point average. Now, in the lawsuit, the couple accuses Baltimore city officials and the school system of failing to educate children. And this is news. While wasting massive amounts of taxpayer money. Now, I think that should be easy to prove, right? And by the way, as of last year, more than 1,300 employees in the Baltimore school system alone earned more than $100,000 in salary, including more than 300 teachers. Speaking of Democrats and their nonsense, here's a sweet taste of irony. It's been announced that the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg will have her name on the front of a U.S. Navy oil ship. Now, what makes this hysterical is that the notorious RBG was a figurehead for Democrats as she served decades on the Supreme Court. So, now that the left is pursuing their utopian vision of 100% carbon-free, sustainable energy, one of their most prominent figures is going to have her name plastered on a Navy oil tanker. Classic. Finally, I'm going to bring in Duke and Katie and give them some Babylon Bee headlines. It's the satirical site that we love around here. So I'm going to wrap things up by looking at the top headlines coming out of Joe Biden's White House this week, according to the Bee. So Duke and Katie, you can pick after I'll rattle them off here. Let's start with this one. Joe Biden walks back claims that Hunter Biden is his son. Next one. Psaki reminds reporters that Biden doesn't speak for the President of the United States. Next, Jen Psaki walks back claims that she ever worked for the Biden administration. And Biden signs Don't Say Gas bill. Finally, one more. I can't work with this man. After repeated gaffes, Biden's teleprompter resigns in disgust. Duke and Katie, pick your favorite one or two. Yeah, the Bee.
In all honesty, the Jen Psaki walks back claims that she ever worked for the Biden administration. I thought that was a real headline when I first read it. And I was like, she would. She kind of has to. She's going to be going to MSNBC, as we learned, coming up here. She is going to walk back that she ever worked at the Biden administration when this is all said and done. It will be some sort of weird denial. She'll probably circle back on it, but she's going to do this. I would say by the end of 2022, she will have somehow walked back that she even ever worked there.
There's that prediction, friends. Let's see if Katie is correct. Duke?
Since Katie commented on the Bee, I'm going to go all the way back to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It seems kind of fitting to me. She was sticky and tacky and viscous and greasy. So maybe naming a ship after RBG makes a lot of sense.
You described half the Democrats, though. That's
unctuous is the word.
Well, all right, as we wrap things up, let's show some love to our Patriot Club members. And today we're going to give that special shout out to Jennifer from Summers Point, New Jersey. Jennifer, thank you for supporting us.
That, my friends, wraps up this show neat and nice for David, Katrina, and Duke. I say, stay educated, my friends.